So there we are. What's gonna be on the menu today? I hope that's not gonna turn off too loud, but we'll see about that. Okay, do I dare to go for double defense? Yeah. It's pretty hard, but I feel kind of like a little bit bored about one-dimensional defense here. Okay. Ooh, houses. Lots of houses. That's good. That's a lot of money. Money, money, money. Okay, I am also pretty out of money due to this crazy expansion. Let's hope I won't regret it too hard. So what do we have here? Quality over quantity. Enchanted bolts. Flamethrower. I'll go for the flamethrower. That's a good weapon against armored enemies. Love the soundtrack of this game. A lot. Ooh, encampments. Yeah, let's do this. I had these once, and they were spiffing awesome. Okay, we got another house here. Okay. There we go. Let's see how this will work out. Problem is my relatively non-existent mana regeneration right now. Ash, Echo, hi there. Rumors of Icon's retirement were greatly exaggerated. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I got a pretty shitty week. Not feeling too well. But show must go on, right? So, we could go for Mordars. Well, okay, it's a little bit risky. But they're so good. One of my favorite anti-armor weapons in the game. So, most armor, most health. Hopefully it's getting better. It's always getting better. I know when I'm feeling like that I'm bouncing back from that always. But well, I'm always happy when these weeks are over. Let's put it like that. There we go. Ooh, it's not looking good here. This is just such a short venue here that I'm really scared about that backfiring into my face at some point. But at the same time, I don't feel like I got the money to build anything over here. Huh? Okay, we got it. Shredders. No. I want something that works well against shields. But for now, we don't need it that badly, but we will need it quite badly. Well, I got a flame tower available. Let's go for quality over quantity. Nah, this is best served later on, because right now my towers are all low level, and this feat won't bring me that much. Hey AFK, wonderful to see you. You're just the right person to see today. It's exactly I need some good vibes, you know. This week has been quite terrible to me. There's a war on my two lands next to me, and I feel like I'm growing ill soon again. I don't wanna. I'm done with being infected from the kindergarten next door. Oh, don't get out. Okay, we lose one. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, Ash, I came on really late, but thanks for dropping by. Have a good night, and I'll make it earlier soon again, promise. Poison sprayer, so we're settled now. We don't need any further towers now. We got something against shields, we got stuff against armor, we're set. Okay, now, we're also broke. Well, it's not so good. Well, let's go this way. So, I need something that covers both directions here quite decently, although most pressure is happening from this angle here now. Well, but it's actually looking good here. So, one nasty thing about this game is that you can't pause it. Let's drop a flame tower here. There we go. Got Axon? Good luck, Ash. I hope you heard that. Not sure about this, but I love the soundtrack of this game, by the way. So, money is quite low. Defenses on this side are also quite bad. Dang. Well, I could expand in this direction, but is that a really good idea? No, it's not. Let's rather expand into this direction. And, well, I'm too broke to afford another flamethrower for this side of the parkour, so yeah, we're gonna bleed a bit here. Or are we? No! Not a single one went through? Crazy. Lucky. There we go. So before the first boss, we don't need to put up the poison sprayers yet. Alright. But I think a second mortar tower would be quite nice. Now, more flame shield damage for flames, concussive shells now. Flamethrowers gain extra damage to armor. That's a bit interesting. No, we're gonna go for sorcery. That's never a bad choice. More mana regen is always a good thing. Okay. Now, well, let's expand further into this direction here. This will buy me some time. Oh, dang. Oh, I'm so stupid. No, of course. I need to... Oh, okay. I forgot that these towers are useless if you don't configure them correctly. It's been a couple of days since I played this game last time. Yeah. Well, this will be a short run for sure. With so many mistakes I did already, but, well, could be worse. I wish there would be an option here to copy the settings of a tower. If they are, let me know. Would be really great. So, haunted house, no. Lifesteal. Every enemy killed regenerates mana. No, not interested. Wire frost keeps. Well, I said I don't need extra towers, but these are really good. Now let's take them. Okay. Oh, I'm so sad that I made this stupid mistake there. To configure them so badly. Because your flame towers, they are mostly to soften up the armored targets properly. So you don't have to worry about them on your ballistae anymore, you see? Clean. Clean it out. Hey, Icon! A little bit. Yeah, Rusty, see you soon, man. That's no problem. I'm here mostly out of stubbornness, honestly. Something deep down inside me did want to keep me away today, but that's just the depression that's trying to make me feel worse than I'm already feeling. I know these tricks already. So, there we go. Nice amount of money here in my pocket. I'm surprised. I thought I'd go down quicker. So I'll upgrade the poison sprayers, or yeah, I'd say that's a good thing. We also could go for some poison spraying after all. Here, why not? So poison is really bad against armor, so we want to go for most shield and then most health. There we go. Let's see how we'll fare here. My mana production is really good, so I think I can afford extra towers here. And I'd say let's put a poison sprayer here too. So most shield, most health. Because this side here is slowly growing is slowly going under more and more pressure. So let's put up a couple of ballistas next to this house here. This always brings in a really good amount of money. Every tower next to a house brings you money per wave. Actually, you want to try to get those towers next to the houses as quick as possible, but preferably without killing yourself. Corrosion. Poison sprayers, extra damage to health. That's actually pretty good. Dehydration. No, we're going to take the extra damage versus health there. I think that's a great idea. Okay. Now then, I'll expand for the first time in this direction here. So we got 300 books. It's not really much, but I hope it'll be enough. Oh, the first siege rams are coming in. Oh, this is bad. Goodbye, cruel world. I anticipated that quite early. So, 2-lane defense is quite hard. It's a completely different pair of shoes, but that's okay. But I also think that I forgot to spend all my XP that I got the other night when I won this game once. So. Treasury, begin with extra gold. That is absolutely desirable. The more gold we start with, the more powerful we can start. Fortification, repair. Repair is quite nice. This is a chance of being repaired. And let's see, let's go for upgrades for those damage over time effects. So, attacks against bleeding enemies gain crit chance. Bleeding enemies take an additional +1 health damage from all attacks. Yeah, that's just... Slow cooker. Burning enemies burn faster on how much slow they have. Okay, scales. The amount of burn damage an enemy takes every second proportionally to their current amount. Scales. So, the slower he is, the stronger the burn. That's sick. Increase maximum burn and additional armor damage. I see. So here we go. Extra power-ups for those. I want to go for some damage over time options because I'm playing so much with those poison towers and all that I want to try them out for real. So, mortars. All mortars gain an additional +5 range. That's sick. Okay, that's a completely new power there. Mortars gain permanent bonus. Okay. Since I use those mortars really a lot. Mana bombs. All mortars gain +4 base damage, but now consume mana. Oh yeah, sure. Why not? Okay. Another weapon fully upgraded. Nice. So let's see what we can do for those landmines. Those landmines were freaking fun. Shredding, but we're out of XP. Sad. Okay. So, because I sucked so hard, I'm gonna go for another single defense here. It's a lot easier, I know, but I want to try out something easy. I won this game mode once, and I want to know if I've learned enough to repeat it now. Every time I want to. Now, we got an encampment or a university. The encampment is really cool. The encampment is a really, really fun tower. If you want to call it a tower, that is. It's spawning landmines on the path. And it's really cool. I'm gonna show it to you later. Now, that's quite crappy upgrades here. So, just tossing out a ballista here and there. Just to make sure that our enemies are being pelted decently. Shredder. That would be bleed. Do I want bleed? Yeah, I can't say no to these. They are so much fun. This game has way too many towers that are so much fun to play. But it's really important that you limit yourself to a certain number of towers. Otherwise, the upgrade cards will be too random, and your strategy will be watered down because you'll constantly draw wrong cards. Because if you have too many towers, you have too many optional upgrade cards. Mana Siphon. This is one of the most important buildings. As soon as you can get that card, do it immediately. It's that good. Now, I'd say this is a really, really good area for an encampment. Sadly, those encampments are so freaking costly. There are no early game towers, unless you're fully upgraded, I guess. Probably working, I don't know. Bleed them dry. Okay. I wonder if I only get that if I actually have a tower that can make enemies bleed. No Man's Land. This is basically the most important upgrade for the encampment. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. So sadly, I can't right now set up the encampments, but we're going to go for Stanier. Hi there. I love Rogue Tower. I honestly expected nothing when I bought it, and I was like, well, I wanted to see why this game had that many positive reviews and all, and I was absolutely surprised that this was the most pleasant new experience in the tower defense genre that I've seen since Gemcraft, actually. Gemcraft hooked me similarly. So I'm very pleased. Oh yeah, we got the flamethrower now. That's good. That means armored enemies are no longer an absolute game breaker for me. So this time I'm smarter than the last time. Flame towers are excellent. They deal most damage against armored targets. Their armored multiplier is pretty high. They're pretty useless against shielded targets, but every Gemcraft. Gemcraft was one of my absolute favorite tower defense games. Before that, I think it was called Protector. The Protector series, or was it called differently? It was something that I played way back when Congregate was actually a cool site to be at. It's been a few years. So, let's upgrade. Upgrade what? Oh yeah, I love Ballista upgrades. Never played it? It's really good. It's really, really good. Probably should feature it here on my channel once for all of those who have missed that gem. Because, yeah, okay. Gem. Unintended pun. But jokes aside, Gemcraft is really brilliant. It's one of the best tower defense games I've ever played. And it will always remain at that spot for me. Oh yeah, this is an excellent spot for the encampment. I hope I'll make it. But I gotta say, I really hope that this game here sees a little bit of further development down the road still, because there's really a lot of improvement. Well, tower defense can be played in various ways. I really dig this approach of deciding for yourself where you're going to expand and where not. So, they slow but sure. No, I'm getting poison upgrade cards, even though I don't have a poison tower. Oof, that's unfortunate. This would be better if these would only come up if you actually had a card that provides poison, because otherwise it feels pretty crappy to draw these. Now, but let's just pick the armor damage. Upgrade for the flame towers. That will be very, very good. So, encampment. Landmines. Encampments deal stupidly much damage. Wow, so does this flame tower guy now. It's melting the armor down on these dudes. Quite surprised, frankly said. Okay. Now, should we put up another flamethrower? Possibly. Possibly. So, all ballistas deal bleed damage. Oh, the Frost Keep. Yeah, please. I love this card. Okay, but let's place down a couple of ballistas here. Oh, look at that. This is a really nice choke point as well. Alright. So far, so good, but I'm still lacking some source of damage against shielded enemies. It's right now the biggest threat still. I love those landmines, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, what next? White phosphorus, mortar, no thanks, I already got enough armor busting. Got the encampments and the flamethrowers. Mortars on top of that would be overkill. I love overkill, but we need something else more badly. All flamethrowers gain 50% burn. All ballistas deal extra damage to shields. That's a good one. Because shielded enemies will be quite numerous later on. And therefore, it's a quite big benefit if you are able to kill these dudes off with a standard tower. Because the ballista is what I consider the the standard tower. It's just what you use before you have anything else. So, let's see, how's the gold efficiency here? Our ballistas have the worst gold efficiency, but that's no big surprise to me, because most of the ballista towers I build as income sources here, because the more towers you build around these houses, the better, so... Well. Next up, No Man's Land 2. This is increasing the range of these towers more and more, which is making them more and more nuts. Alright, but we're going to place down a flame tower here as well. And let's go for most health and most armor. Alrighty. So far, so good. I can also place down Frost Keeps right next to these flame towers. That'll increase their efficiency also massively. But I'll start here, not back there. Alright. The mines are also so good against these dudes that are launching out of the siege rams. Because they always come in one clump. So, it's a little bit early for the university, but I want to have it already. Oh, look, there's more of these houses. Jeez. Why is there so much housing to defend on this map? Crazy. Still doing it because it's a lot of money to go for, but... This is still making the damage per gold ratio of my ballistas cry even more. Well, that's just as it is. But I gotta say, this cluster here still does a decent job, after all. Here we go. Should I build another frost tower here? Yeah, I don't know. Alright, I also got a lot of sources, or a lot of spots for mana siphons. So let's do this. At this this point of the game, mana is growing more and more important. There's one thing still bothering me though, I still have no shield buster. And if I don't get any shield busting tower soon, I'm deado. Sadly. But we still have a little bit of time until that happens. Ah, there's the poison sprayer. We're saved. We can win now. Basically. Basically, I have now all the tools together to win this run. Ah, and there's another house. My goodness. Okay, why not? I mean... There's so much gain in this run. Can't remember when I had the last time so many of these. Quite fun. Okay. I'm quite surprised that I didn't have any branch off yet. Usually I had a crossroads earlier, but this time it's a very, very long, straightforward tunnel. Not bad, not bad. It's good for defense, by all means. But it's quite uncommon, nevertheless. Oh, look at how this thing is melting these dudes. Wow. Nice. Yeah, well, they don't have any chance. Any ideas on the tower priorities? Yes, or too early? Tower priorities, do you mean the targeting, or which towers to draft? I am not sure which topic you mean right now. Ballistas deal burn damage. Let's do this. Targeting. Well, I always do it like that. Every tower that, for example, here the flame tower, if it's like here, if it's armor most, I always go for prioritizing this type of enemy specifically, because I made the experience that specialist towers are really good at kicking down these defenses there. Beyond that, I don't really fidget around much with it. You can do a lot of great things with the target prioritization, but I made the experience that telling your specialists to aim at the stuff they're most effective at is already doing like 80% of the work. Here, for example, Poison Sprayer is good against shield and health, so I aim them first most shield, then most health. That's a targeting strategy I've been faring really, really well with. Alright, boss time. I always love these landmines, also so much for boss enemies. Ooh, slow down and flame tower. Love it. It's so nasty. The arrow towers, well, I'm kind of torn with these. I mean, sure, everything that's close to the tower, I guess progress is the best choice. But with the towers, you need to think of, with the arrow towers, it's more about where are they and what's their job. For example, it's really, really worth it to, give me a sec, I'll show you. Ballistas extra damage to health. No, the extra. For example, I could gain quite a lot by configuring maybe this cluster here to go for the enemies with the least health. Because this way they would finish off everything that's trying to pass through here. There's also a couple of enemies later down the road that have really nasty behaviors. Vampires, for example. When they go low, they transform into a bat. First off, they gain full health again, and secondly, they grow super fast. Therefore, a couple of arrow towers in between that target on the least healthy enemy can counteract that, but they're pretty crappy at this job. Ideally, my personal experience is let those arrow towers unconfigured and do the configurations on those more specialized towers. Everything else, well, if you like micro, by all means, go for it. There's a lot of things I think you can improve on and do better than I do here. But I'm a big fan of getting 80% of the results with 20% of the work. That's just me, though. But I gotta say, I'm also not that super experienced with this game. I'm still learning myself as well a lot. I merely made it to finish or win the single lane defense once. But the double lane defense, I'm still working on this. This is really hard. I tried it and I failed quite hard, and now I was like, let's do something chill because I don't know. It's been a rough week for me, and I wanted to have some more fun than demanding gameplay. Life was demanding enough this week. I wanted to stream Distant Worlds 2 today, but then I realized that this is exactly what I mean with too demanding. But I'm gonna be back on my feet pretty soon again. It's just been so many things this week that I didn't expect just to happen. So, yeah, let's get ourselves the first Shredder. And the Frostkeep. Shredders are super fun. First off, they're pretty good against everything, but mostly against health. Tesla coils now. Mines. Well, let's go for poison on the Ballistator. So we got bleed and poison as well on our small arrow towers. Might be fun. Let's see about that. And let's put another Shredder up here. And look at the saw blades go into the enemies, and I love it. Okay. So I'm afraid this is one of these extra super effective corners, and I'm somewhat afraid that it's going to be too super effective, but we'll see about that. Okay, another encampment. Going for more of those sassy landmines. But it's working out quite decently so far. Even my mana income is high enough to sustain through this, which frankly surprises me. Only thing that's bothering me right now is that all these defenses back here are not under pressure, and thus they don't level anymore. Something that always bothers me a bit. Because I don't like to spend money for upgrading towers, but if we have to, I guess we will have to. So, nitric acid, more armor damage, hell yeah. If there's anything I love, then more specialized damage. So another flamethrower? Yeah. Ah, here we go. There's the vampires. You see they're turning into bats. But, I mean, if you don't have any towers that can finish them off quickly enough, those landmines are something I love as well. Okay. Looking good so far. Still no crossroads. Amazing. Wave 18 already. And it seems like we're stopping everything before it comes around this corner. That's quite frightening. Quite frighteningly effective here. But I gotta say, this is also a combo made in hell. Good against shields, good against armor, good against health, and slowing down the hell out of these guys. This is a really sassy combo of towers. Can't wait to unlock the other more sassy tower designs. Right now it's all quite basic here. But the basic tower designs are a lot of fun too. But I want those obelisks and particle cannons. So, increase maximum poison per sec. Yes. So, these upgrades will increase the actual damage per second of my damage over time things. So that means they will degen faster, which is quite important. Okay. So I got a lot of money. How to spend it? I'd say a couple of encampments more don't hurt. This one is a good spot here too. And down the road here. I shy away from placing down an encampment here, but I shouldn't. It's just an extremely nice addition here, so we now get landmines here as well. There we go. This is nice. But honestly, I don't want to build past this border here anymore. I'd rather build into this direction, so once the enemies that grow stronger will be catched back here instead of bleeding out the other turrets even more and more. So we're going to go for extra bleed or mana banks. That's a hard one. No, I want to increase the damage over time effects. I wanted to try that out quite badly, because I was wondering whether or not damage over time effects suck less if you actually do it like that. Because honestly, without these upgrades, I was very, very underwhelmed by these damage over time effects. It felt like you didn't apply any damage over time at all. Which I didn't like too much. Dang, those enemies are quite fast lately. So how's the level of my little shredder tower now? He's doing fine. But it's still very hard to perceive whether or not the damage over time is not better or not. I mean, sure, we got more bleed and poison damage, and I'm applying bleed and poison here, but does it really change anything? One might only guess. So, but I want to put up yet another shredder here. So we can keep those damage over time stacks up and running. That's pretty important, I'd say. Okay. Just popping them. Usually I had more trouble with those zombos. Okay, Poison Bolts Tier 2 Proximity Fuses. Increase burn damage, yes, so. Yay! Another mana sports here. Perfect. Oh, I'm so tempted. Yeah, whatevs. I can't stop myself. It's just too much of a good opportunity to not do it, you know? these corners here are just brilliant for these towers to set up. So, how's the gold efficiency going now? So, the flamethrowers are... and the flame and the poison sprayers are absolutely king right now. Sadly, this doesn't update dynamically. We need to reopen it if you want to have new numbers. Yeah, well. Okay. I just thought that if I really want to put up a proper damage over time strat, I need to apply fresh damage over time literally everywhere the enemy goes. Although I'm wondering whether or not we can bring up the necessary mana for this. This is another question I'm not too sure about. But we'll do our best and try. So here's another shredder. I think here's another good room for a shredder too. And of course, encampments. Encampments. Probably don't know yet. So, Creeping Cough. Poisoning enemies also slows them by 5% of poison gained. That sounds quite sick. Let's do this. Brains. Let's see how much slow that effectively does. I mean, 5% of the applied poison, how is that supposed to be calculated? I mean, right now, this thing has 300 poison, so 5% of that would be 15. 15 what? Move speed? Is there a stat like move speed on the enemies? If so, we can't really read it. It's bothering me a bit, you know? But it's not as important as I think it is. Okay, so we really do a nice job here, I'd say. Oh no, here's the shredder. I was just thinking that there might be a shredder missing, but no, actually not. So let's toss down another encampment here. I can't stop myself. Here's a good spot for yet another shredder. And yet another encampment. Why not? I mean, winning a single lane defense doesn't feel like a pretty hard thing anymore once you have understood the basics. Or at least I hope so. I want to try if I can replicate it as easy as I think. And grind a nice amount of money experience while doing so. So scholarships. Scholarships or quality over quantity? No. No, I'm going to take scholarships. This is an extremely important thing to pick up. I'm going to show you later why. Right now it's absolutely useless, and I don't get any benefit whatsoever out of my choice here, but I'm gonna get there later. And it's gonna be absolutely worth it. So, most shield, most health. And let's create another flamethrower. Whoa, I don't have enough money for another flamethrower. Huh. There you have it. I'm spending too much money. No. Well, let's just wait it out then. Okay. So far, so good. I really like how this is working out so far. And I really think we could use another encampment here. Encampments are so wonderful sources of AoE damage that persists. That's just persisting and lying around until the end of the wave. There's really only one downside with those encampments. The mines get removed after each wave. It would be OP otherwise, but you can counter that by just slamming down endless amounts of encampments. They're really working out a charm against the bosses as well. Research breakthrough. All towers gain crit chance. That's really good. Slow cooker. Oh no. Oh no. I'm taking the research breakthrough. 5% crit over the board is brilliant. So, yeah, this is a nice area of effect there. So, well, the shredders are coming back. The encampments are really bad in terms of damage per gold yet, but they will have their big time. Go. So now we got landmines literally everywhere. Oh, give me a sec. I just did a mistake. This is too far up front. These encampments then need a bit of time to do their magic. If you put them up too early, they won't have enough time to spread their mines over the lane. So up front here, it would do almost nothing. Okay. Wow, that's looking pretty good so far. Spores. Nitric acid 3. Tempted. Yeah, I'll take that. This is extra power against armor on my flamethrowers. But let's face it, the flamethrower's primary job is to crack armored targets. So it's absolutely working out. Okay. So it's zombie boogie time. That's why you got all these encampments, so you have landmines for days against your boss. Okay. There's quite a lot of money coming together right now, but I'm a little bit reluctant to invest anything right now. Sanda, hi there. Welcome to see you. Good morning. So... well, let's see how this will work out. There's one thing bothering me about this game, though, until this very day. I don't know why the heck the dev didn't come up with the idea that, just like every tower defense game I've ever played, I could use a speed up button. But this game doesn't have one. You literally have to download a mod from a different website to implement that. But I wasn't desperate enough yet. But looking at Zombie Oogie creeping down my lane here, I'm starting to change my mind a bit. So looks like the 5% slow of that poison is slowly kicking in. I'm pretty sure he doesn't make it past this. All these mines are dealing so freaking much damage. I love it. Yeah, there we go. And this guy sends quite often minions, fast minions, but this is really not a problem if you have this kind of defense here in the hinterlands. Okay, bleed them dry. Extra bleed damage. Or is there anything I really need more badly? Flamethrowers gain crit chance. Yes, please. Free crit on towers. That's just too strong. Crits are so good. Scholarships. Yes, please. And increases maximum burn by +100. Yes, this is good. And bleeding enemies take an extra +1 health. Oh yeah, this is also pretty good. Because everything bleeds here right now. And now we got badass music. Rogue Tower today. Well, Last Epoch, the new patch ain't out yet. It's coming tomorrow, 18th. It was. Or did I miss something? And last spell, well, the thing is, right now, I actually, you are quite good, I give you that. But right now I'm running a YouTube series on that, and since last spell only has one save slot as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I remember, you must finish your run before you can start a new one. Yeah, the 18th has just started an hour ago, Asanda. For me, at least. So it's demon time. Now we're in trouble. Oh yeah, there's an occult shrine. This is what I've been waiting for. So, now we're plastering this place with universities. Universities are absolutely important for us. We are going to increase this until this is 10% everywhere. So, every university now has a chance, every wave, to increase my base damage either on health, armor, or magic by 1. And then the multiplier will apply. So if you check this out here, the base damage here is 10, and then it gets multiplied by 15 if it hits armor. So basically, this increases your base damage in such nutty ways that without these, I strongly believe that you have no chance to win the late game. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating, but this trick is making things a lot easier. Steel, hi there. See you soon, Stainier. Happy to have you. Happy to have... whatever. I'm glad you've been here. Is the university buff stacking over time? You get a permanent bonus to your damage if it triggers. So basically, after each wave, it checks. So there's a 10% chance for each damage type. So it checks. Do I get +1? No? No? Yes? And then I get these for the remainder of the run. So if you get lucky, your towers can get stupidly strong out of that. And it's quite outrageous how strong this is. So, all towers gain +1 damage to armor. I'll take that. This is sounding great. Let's expand further. I love the soundtrack of this game so much. I don't know. It's the most badass tower defense sound game I know. Tower defense game soundtrack I know of. Talking is really not my strength today. What a pity that I'm streaming. Seriously. Okay. This is a crazy map. I've never had a single lane defense that never split itself up at any point. This just stays one long lane all the way. First time I have this. So, let's see how this will work out. Oh, I should actually invest here first. There we go. But I think everything here should work out just fine. I mean, we're not even reaching any of the critical regions here, so even fine about that. One thing I could change up, though, is I could increase the amount of ballista towers here. I love those encampments. The landmine damage is so useful. I just... Okay. Now, let's finish upgrading that. So, judging from the guide that I read, 10% on each research area is just fine. So, Trail of Blood 2, more... No, we're gonna go for Bleed Them Dry. I want bleed damage. Lots of it. So now you see I got +1 on health, armor, and shields due to that. And this is where things get funny. Because this is just the beginning. This is now growing more and more stupid here. Personally, one of the coolest ways to get I think personally that this is one of the coolest ways to get rid of the enemies there. We're going to put up an encampment of these crazy +4 towers here, or at least on this one. Because I'm pretty sure that it will be able to even cover these areas there. Or a Shredder. Shredder would be fun too. Let's go for a Shredder. As soon as I can afford it, though. Okay. Flamethrowers and poison sprayers and shredders are definitely the best damage dealers here in my setup so far. My mana is not working out anymore. I need more sources or more mana banks. I want to check out how far it reaches. Not buying that. Also not too cool, huh? And the flat and a good old schooled ballista. Let's go for that. Okay. Oh gosh. I mean, it is actually quite smart to invest now into towers that don't have any mana cost involved, because right now we definitely need some new mana income. So more poison damage, yes please. Ah, look at that. More universities. Yay! This is fun. And here base damages are starting to rack up into really interesting levels here. Once all these universities are on 10%, I'm not gonna touch them anymore. The best part about the university buffs is that they influence all your towers. With enough of these buffs, ultimately your ballista towers will be quite decent against shielded or armored enemies as well. And I consider that one of the major... Can't talk today. One of the major benefits of the word I was talking. One of the major benefits of this upgrade thing there. Really hope that I'll gain some sort of mana upgrade either, or alternatively another couple of mana Q or mana crystals here on the map. Oh, look at that, I forgot 2 possible mana siphons here. I mean, it ain't much, but it's a start, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, and damage over time. So damage over time's actually a pretty big portion of my damage by now. Interesting. Wait a sec. Increase the maximum of all of these, but first scholarships. Yes, it's only 1%, I know. But it's actually a quite massive boost. So they're all now at a lot more. No mana, dang. Alright. But I know that this is so much worth it. After that, we're going to stack up with stupid amounts of new towers. But Asanda, I actually plan to take a look at Last Epoch once the next update is out. I mean, this is one game I'm actually just waiting for to be done because it is already brilliant. It's really the next ARPG thing that I want to play quite badly once it's done, but I don't want to overplay it before it's done. I always regretted that with early access titles, be they as good as they want to be. Still can't touch Darkest Dungeon until this very day because I overplayed the hell out of it in the early access time. Kinda bothers me until today. Okay, so universities are all packed up. Mana situation ain't that problematic anymore right now. Or at least it pretends as if it wouldn't be. So let's smack down a couple of these dudes. I was a little disappointed, not many class updates. I see. Okay, good thing that you say it, so I think I'll still have to wait until they get it done even more. I mean, they are on a brilliant way there. But right now, I really don't see the big benefit of playing it before it's done. I'll have a look on it too, but
this is very personal.
Hey, Nihilistic Squid, thank you for your support. 10 frickin' months. Man, time flies with you guys. Nice. Well, right now I'm pretty stuck with Distant Worlds 2. This game really hooked me quite hard. Oh, look at that. More universities. I love it. Especially since it has this... whoopsie. I don't hit the right buttons anymore. Especially since Distant Worlds 2 has this insane type of depth that I love with on games a lot. And I also love good Space 4X games. And it's been a while since I ran into a good one since Stellaris. And with Stellaris, I really gotta say, one thing is bothering me a bit, that the devs change up the game's mechanics and user interface and things so fundamentally from time to time that it just feels like different games. Like, you come to Stellaris after a couple of years and you feel like you're playing a different game. This is sometimes with some types of games is good, but with something as complex as this game, I always feel like, oh gosh, I got to relearn it all again. That's just me. Or is anybody feeling like that too? I don't know. That's something I really dislike about Stellaris in general. Gives me too often this feeling as if all my past knowledge has been is not worth anything anymore because too many things have changed. Personally, love to play damage over time builds with other things. Move skill changing, unique skill lock. Tell me how to skill. Yeah, damage over time is actually a lot of fun. I always love it too when the enemies are just melting while you're doing your thing. Gotta admit, I haven't looked too deep into the classes and options of Last Epoch as of yet, too deeply, because like I said, I'm saving it up for later. But what I can see is that they got a very, very solid foundation. Or do you think differently about that, Asanda? I really feel like this is one of the most promising ARPG titles in the making, at least. More university, please. Okay, Sorcery 1 versus Flaming Bolts. Infection, Haunted Houses, that's definitely not doable for us. Let's go for Sorcery, I like that. Probably gonna fetch up some mana banks later. Oh yeah, I can build another one here. Nice. Basics are already quite good. Glad to see it that way too. I really think they are... Last Epoch could be something like... could be as popular as Grim Dawn if they don't run into some dead end there with their development. Mainly because I always felt like when I was playing Last Epoch, its skill system felt like I was hoping Diablo 3's skill system would work like. It's basically like, they basically cured my disappointment from Diablo 3's skill system by taking the best parts of it and cutting out the bad things and putting in something that's really fun to play. At least that's been my impression about the skill system. This whole learning by doing thing and choosing how you want to specialize each skill according to your own game plan. I love it. This is such a cool way of specializing yourself without that stupidly huge passive board that Path of Exile is infamous for. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Path of Exile's passive skill board, but I dislike it if other games stupidly try to copy that. Because, you know, copy pasta is nothing that makes us gamers happy. If you want to copy, you need to steal the work of other developers creatively to make us gamers happy. Okay, so the universities are finally finished. This is always a quite bothersome part of the build. I hate it, actually. You just have to invest stupid amounts of money just into these things, but it pays off. It pays off. It makes the later waves of the game actually playable. Before I went for the university strat, I had no chance in the later runs and later waves. Without that, the later waves were always just simply overrunning me, no matter what I did. This way now we have even a stupid damage multiplier now on the ballistas against shields due to +6 space damage, +6 multiplier by now. So, let's say proximity fuses, fumes, trail of blood. Let's go for fumes. I'm not done yet. Oh god. I thought I'd be done already. But this will end up with a really crazy base damage here in the end of the run. Yeah, I really want to bring up some defenses on this part of the lane at some point, but for now not. So, my plan, by the way, guys, is to play this run until it's finished, and then I, sadly, have to log off, as the regulars already anticipated, I guess. But I'm really glad that I made it tonight. The biggest problem with Lost Epoch is the lack of transparency between those skill interactions. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's, the curse of the early access version, and that's why I don't go too deep into that. I don't have the time to be an unpaid beta tester for them, sadly. Kudos to all those people who play it and give constructive feedback, though. Yeah, game clarity is one of the big things that's separating really good games from the bad ones, I personally like to say. The better you can understand how stuff's working, even in a very complex environment, the more fun you'll have with your game. To some degree, I'm always fascinated about how well, for example, Amazing Cultivation Simulator handled that. This game is cluttered with system on top of system on top of system, but at the same time, it's all actually so well integrated in itself that except for the Shendao shenanigans, I understood most of the things quite decently. Except for the combat. That's a mess. But sadly, I have a little bit of a I'm done feeling with ACS for now. But after 1.5 years of constant content creating, maybe it's time to. Might be only human, after all. So, well, look at this. There's still so much destructive power back on the track there. Goodness. Alright, Sorcery Tier 2. No, we're taking quality over quantity. Now this is a good upgrade. I'm trading away 1 point of base damage, and I receive 1% of crit per tower level. And all these towers, they level by dealing damage, so the more they do their job, the more crit they get on that. And that's just a powerful upgrade all in all. Okay. It's the first time that I got this. It's insanely fun, but it's at the same time, it's also quite reading me out. Okay, now, how do we deal with this situation here? First off, I need more money, I guess, but after that... ACS has a story? Just kidding, I know that, but they totally botched up the story mode there. I really hope that the devs of the game learn a lot out of their first game, because, gotta say, even though a lot of things are quite butchered in this game, it's still absolutely massively fun. I mean, I haven't had played games that much, especially indie games. And even though some part deep inside of me hates ACS, don't get me wrong, I still have a part of me that likes to play it and comes back every now and then and asks himself, isn't it cultivation time again? Quite amazing. Really looking forward to their next game, that's for sure. Because even if it doesn't look like it's going to be too similar to ACS1, this might be actually a good thing, you know? I always love it when developers have the ability to develop themselves past their former work. It's always a good thing. You don't get nailed down to what people perceive you because of the stuff you did in the past. Okay. 10 more waves. I just hope the modding will be more accessible. Oh yeah. Is it just that you can't mod it that well? Because there's one thing I've been very surprised about, that even after all this time this game has been on our markets, the modding workshop is very, very compact. There's not really coming up much new stuff. I don't know. Modding is really complicated. I wouldn't... Do you need to understand Chinese, or is it not that horrible? So, let's see. Poisoned enemies take an extra +1 shield damage. Yes, please. So, Robo Oogie. There we go. Oh my god, there's yet another one? Jeez. Madness. Well, I'm actually always quite surprised about the fact that there's so much good playable stuff coming out of China, because as a matter of fact, you know, dictatorships aren't exactly famous for giving much breathing room for creative work. So therefore, I really respect all the people that are able to export good stuff out of their country, because right now, I'd say China is a little bit in a problematic situation, to be it to to put it in friendly words. Isn't ACS supposed to be more of a role-playing game? Yes, yes. They change up the gameplay there a bit. Chocolate bar. My goodness, Sanda, that sounds absolutely terrible. Speaking about sounding terrible, Robo Oogie is freaking me out a bit. But let's see how this will work out. He's quite unscathed here, you know. But at the same time, we had not a single poison or flame tower in his vicinity as of yet, so I shouldn't be taking this too seriously as of yet. Okay. The guy is melting. My goodness. Yeah, so the extra damages here are just insane. As cheesy and boring as it might be to invest into this direction here, it is just that effective. I really also don't know if it was actually in the ideas of the developer that you are doing what I'm doing here. Yeah, exactly. They plan to do base building and character building, with a stronger focus on the entire cultivation trope, though. On your main character focused, and I think that's actually a quite good thing, because as of now, I felt like ACS1 didn't really decide too well what it's going to be, a base building game or a cultivation simulator. It's been a little bit too much stuck in between. And due to this stuck in betweenness, the many parts of the game are quite crappy, because it tried to be too much a jack of all trades, in my humble opinion. And, you know, I played the game a ton, so probably there's something behind that opinion. I don't know. Everybody should decide that for himself. But I'm really looking forward to the changes on ACS2. That's all I want to say. Because I think specializing on something in particular is a very wise choice. Because trying to do too many things at once and trying to please everybody at the same time is sure as hell one good way to achieve nothing at all, and to piss off everybody to some degree. So we're now up to the finale. Now it's going to be fun. Alright, let's go for some extra poison sprayers and flamethrowers again. Because now we're going to go for the last 10 waves. Okay. I hope that the NPC cultivators are more relevant in the new game. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The other stacks in ACS1 are either completely neglectable or only usable as something you can steamroll at some point. It was really just weird. A lot of things were just weird, but I for myself keep thinking these guys were just doing their first game, and they did a bloody good job at this, so I'm really looking forward to what they'll do in the future. Ooh, this is a bad placement there. Let's rather place that dude here. That's way better. Yeah. The higher tribulation levels are somewhat strange for me, because they don't really add anything, in my humble opinion, to the game that much. It's just either you know how to cheese the hell out of the game to get through these tribulation levels, or you just fail. That's a bit weird, but like I said, can't wait to see what these guys are cooking up next. That's all I'm saying. Alrighty, I'm really afraid about my mana situation, but luckily we have now access to the mana bank. And mana banks are just awesome. They allow me to gain more mana, as the name implies. But let's put them into the vicinity of my tower. So mana banks increase the total amount of mana, and they also generate some mana. The good thing about that is I got a 1% of my max mana per second regeneration, so it's growing better and better. Wait a sec, they can't connect. What sort of bankomancy is this? Fumes, napalm. All ballistas deal poison damage. No. By the way, did I grab the chest? Yes, I did so. Great. Ah, look at that! The path is finally splitting up. Who would have thought this would happen anytime too soon again? Nice. Alright. Now. Stuff's grown more costly, but that's fine. Meanwhile, I'm at insane plus levels towards all manner of different damage types. The higher tribulations are way too unbalanced. You can't. Really? You can't only beat it with body cultivation? I mean, I've seen most people playing body cultivator for these. Yeah. 1 million chi. No, you can't beat that with regular Jandao. That's not possible. That's just not possible. Jandao never gets within 100 days at a spot into a position where you could zerk down a dude with 1 million chi. Because if you say it's primordial, that means he probably also has a decent armor, you know? It's not about... If it would be only about getting down this insane amount of HP, that would be already bad enough. But considering that there's also a decent damage reduction on top of that, good riddance. Yeah, but you're exactly summarizing what I also dislike. It's very one-dimensional. There's a very one-dimensional way of how you can solve these situations, or you don't at all. And that's a little bit, I don't know. But whatever, it really entertained a lot of us quite decently, didn't it? So... Okay. Research breakthrough, even more crits. Ooh, poison sprayers gain crits. Exsanguinate. Crits deal 10% of the target's current bleed as extra bleed damage. There's crazy stuff there, but I'll take the Omni crit. I love that. So let's get a couple of extra shredders. So, how's the total damage here? Yeah, shredders do a big part of my total damage, but look at this crazy dot. Wow. That's almost like 60% of my total damage there. Any tips for splits? I suck at these myself. Yeah, that's well staying here. Still, I gotta learn how to deal with these well myself. Hey, I'm being raided. Hi there, Dark Jedi. yeah, it was definitely worth the money. That's a good statement about ACS. Just seeing how many game time hours I got out of that title, definitely. But I really hope that the Chinese game dev scene is growing, because it's a really promising thing. There's only one thing that's bothering me. These guys tend to forget to put the fun into the games heavy enough. Chinese games often tend to be a little bit too work-like, chore-like, whatever you want to say. Hey, Dark Jedi. Happy to see you, man. So, we're winning this, by the way. I hope, at least. Would be my second victory. But so far it's really looking good, but I don't want to get too happy too early. Yeah, it's going swimmingly. We're kicking ass. Like, most of the time the dudes don't even reach this part of the lane so far. So we're doing quite well. 33? That's already pretty good. 33 to 40 is where the game really is going to kick your nuts. I mean, I'm only living because I'm using the university cheese. I wouldn't know how to do it without the university cheese. So, in case you didn't know this one yet, I got scholarship upgrades that increase the discovery chances, and every one of these universities is modded that it has 10% of these. So basically every wave, I have a huge chance that I gain more damage upgrades for all towers, and this is just massive. Massive upgrade there. 3-lane, wow, 39 on 3-lane. Good job. 3-lane is horrible. I hate these. So, let's see. This looking, I like this spot here. This run is also living a lot from my mind things. If you never used the university, I can only recommend it. Sadly, it's super cheesy because it's super effective, but at the same time, you know, you gotta beat this game somehow. And sadly, I don't know how else I could get such insane power-ups onto my towers. Because as a matter of fact, you gotta see it like that. Plus 18 health damage. That means every single one of my towers starts at not level 1, but level 19. And now you need to add these all in, so it's all together plus 42. So basically every new tower starts at level frickin' 42. How to do this with some other strat? I wouldn't know. So, I don't know. I think the dev has to do something about that. Because I find it too mandatory. You know? If you want to beat the late game reliably, this is one of the best strats that I've found so far. University is the best. Yeah, I know, it's horrible, but what can I do? And the worst thing about it is, I myself got it out of a web tutorial as well. I didn't even come up with this brilliant idea myself. I even copied it from somebody else as well. Because honestly, I wouldn't have come up with this idea myself. So, increase max bleed, burn, and poison. Yeah. We got a sick damage over time here going on. Here, if you check it out, so we got 8.5k damage over time, and the other turrets together, well, I mean, the turrets still did more damage than the damage over time, but they are really close to each other. I think one lane you can do without university. Might have to limit the number of universities. That would be a good idea. Because, as a matter of fact, with this run, there was one point where I was like, oh, no, not another of these things. because I grew tired of investing all my money into these stupid things. If a strategy is extremely effective and still extremely boring for yourself to use, that's always something that makes my gamer senses tingle in a bad way. But whatever. Don't want to complain too hard. I love this game. It's one of my favorite tower defense games that I have discovered in the last couple of months. And I love tower defense games. I really do. I mostly play the one lane here because I wanted to unlock more XP, and I wanted to have an easy game tonight. Beat one lane without university, using radar and mortar. I never had radar yet. Mortars are great. Get 2 lane with only shredder ballista. Cool. That's possible. Well, I don't think that it's so mandatory, but once you started out with this stuff, it's hard to not to anymore because you're effectively gimping yourself quite hard. Well, yeah, let's put up another shredder here, and this is a good spot for the poison and the flamethrowers. All the bleed pretty much. Oh yeah. So it's also my first run where I maxed out damage over time effects, and I gotta say I'm really pleasantly surprised about how this works out in practice. So let's slam up a couple of mana banks. Good lord. They grow stronger each one if you combine more of them. I had no clue. Or do they? No, they don't. They just go together visually. They produce, of course, more the bigger my mana stack is. Misread that. Research breakthrough. More crit. All mana banks store an extra 15. That's pretty good. But honestly, crit beats everything. If you can get more crits, go for more crits. Yeah, this map here was extremely lucky too. Literally, this was the first moment where the map split itself up. Until then, just one long lane. I didn't expect to get that lucky. Although, I love it when things split in a way that you can get things like these, where you can put down one turret, which is killing stuff on this side and back there too. That's my favorite. So splits don't have only downsides. But seriously, encampments, I love them. They're among my absolute favorite towers in the game. Mana bolts. Is that the one where you infuse your shots with mana? Reality Truth? Isn't that the one where your towers get to use mana for shooting? The ballistas use mana then. Yeah, I'm still not sure how the hell you're supposed to do something useful with that trait. Because effectively, you won't be able to pull up a mana production that will stem this. I also have a lot of problems with the haunted house as well. The idea of it is pretty great to generate money out of that, but I haven't brought it up running yet ever, because I never have enough mana generation. But probably if you don't invest all the money into universities, you have that mana generation. Who knows? No, Frost Keep. There we go. But it's looking good so far. Haunted houses seems useless. I just wondered if somebody else had good experiences with it, and I was just merely too dumb to put it up. But you guys sound like you don't know anybody either using them successfully. Even with like plus 103 mana golds, still use all your mana. Jeez. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I saw the numbers and I was like, wow. That's costly. And you can't really expect anybody to come up with substantially more than plus 100 mana per second, because everything more than that would be a serious arrow to the knee. Because, you know, you gotta kill enemies with something after all, too. You can't invest only into utility. So, one more go for Make Them Suffer? Hell yeah. My god, this is a lot of damage over time now. Couple of waves more. It's not a balanced game now. I never seen any tower defense game, fairly spoken, that was balanced. Every tower defense game that I've played so far had some ultra cheesy strats to beat it. Gemcraft, for example. I don't know if there are any Gemcraft players around here, but, you know, there's two ways of playing Gemcraft. Either you played as you wanted to, or you played with mana traps. If you start playing it with mana traps, you suddenly play a completely different game of abusing mana. Kingdom Rush. I haven't played that since a very, very long time. I didn't like the later installments anymore. I don't know. I played it when it was new, when it was kind of fresh, but after that, I actually can't really say why I dropped it. Now that I think more closely about it, I didn't like something about the franchise, but I'm not really able to tell you what. It was more like the levels felt not like fun anymore at some point. Yeah, now I remember. There were too many very cheesy strategies from the enemies, where it was like, okay, there's literally only one way to solve this level. That sucks. Or at least, it felt for me like that. But like I said, it's 8 years ago or something like that. There must have been a ton of development until since then. Right now, enemies are not even getting past that. Jeez. We're too strong. There we go. So now we're reaching the last stages of the game. This is where I just clutter everything with ballistas, because ballistas are cheap, and at this stage, a level 1 ballista does so freaking much damage due to the university buffs. It's just obscene. Defender's Quest. That kind of like rings a bell. I gotta check it out. Wait a sec. Give me a sec. I have to check this now. Defender's Quest. Just checking some screenshots there. Nope, that was one game that I wanted to play way back when, then I didn't buy it, and then I lost it out of my view. I kind of like remember totally which game that was now that I look at it. It's really looking good. Was it as much fun as it looks like? Was an okay game, yeah. I'm a big fan of Gemcraft. Gemcraft was one of my, or is one of my all-time favorite tower defense games, because it's literally made to be abused, and it offers so many different game modes where you can go crazy with, that I never grew tired with this game. I never grew tired with it. Although I gotta say, Rogue Tower is really cool because it has a very, very unique take to the genre. And I really hope that this game is going to see more development over the course of the time, because this is one of the most promising new titles that I've seen. This whole way how it handles the map generation and all is brilliant. One of the things I hated the most about tower defense games was that the maps were so static. Like, after a while, it's been always the same maps to play, and that's been quite bothersome. This game really does a good job at mixing this up. I really like that. Although what's really still bothering me about Rogue Tower is the fact that the more stuff you unlock, the less likely it'll grow that you get the upgrades that you really want. And this is something I totally dislike when it comes up. Like, this game needs a little bit more of a deck building aspect, where you can disable certain upgrades that you don't want to draft in your run. Because otherwise upgrading stuff that you actually don't want to use every run is actually detrimental. And that's stupid. That's actually totally stupid in my humble opinion. Now, slow cooker. Burning enemies are burning faster based on the amount of slow they have. Rogue Tower, more modes. More modes would be a good thing too. But I somehow have the feeling that the dev ain't done with this yet. By a long time. At least I hope so. Maybe it's just wishful thinking, who knows? Certainly not me. But I'd love to see more content, more game modes. I don't know what. Like, for example, right now I find it quite frustrating that you have to stop playing after wave 45. But somehow I feel like the dev knows that, and I wouldn't be too surprised if there was some surprise for us during this year. I think the reset skill tree should be free and doesn't lose all your XP. Yes, Reality Truth. That's exactly what I thought as well. I was quite surprised about the fact that you actually can only hard reset your account. That I didn't expect that. And I don't like it either. I feel like it would be so cool if you'd be able to use your XP to tinker a certain build. I mean, if it would be too abusable, simple. Just put up a minimum amount of upgrades that you have to pick once you have unlocked a certain threshold. Like, let's say after you have unlocked like 66% of the available upgrades, the game would be like, you have to take at least 50 upgrade cards. I don't know. Just making up some arbitrary numbers, but I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm coming up with here. I mean, right now I'm actually gimping myself by unlocking so many things because I still want to try out that many things. Yeah, that's okay. Trail of Blood, slow cooker, more Make Them Suffer. It seems like Make Them Suffer is an endlessly pickable upgrade. That's quite sick. Big Brain Oogie is coming in hot. Yay! Now we are at, let's see, plus 24, plus 20, and plus 17. That's level 44. So all my new towers are starting effectively at a level 62, damage-wise. That shouldn't be possible that easy. Seriously, that's too powerful. That's trivializing a lot of things, and I somehow feel like this might be also enough to beat down every game mode. You just have to survive long enough until you reach the university stage. Let's see about that. Still have to try out if I can cheese that hard in the other game modes as well. But this is looking like a lot easier than my last victory. I already won the last run in a way where I felt like, this was not challenging anymore. But this is even worse than last time. But if we check out the damage over time, that's actually quite sick. Seriously, that might be even more than all of my turrets together. Not quite, but getting there. Jeez, damage over time is powerful. I didn't expect that. Do you know how boss spawn works? I thought it was always at the first portal you uncovered. Is that right, or is that a wrong information? I thought it would be always like the first portal you do would be the spawn point. Shredder earning some merit. Oh yeah, the Shredders are really good. I mean, the Shredders do apply all the bleed damage, so... It's the longest path which don't open up that thing. Interesting. Ah, so he didn't spawn here because that was the tile I just opened up, and he did spawn there because that's the longest path. Yeah, thanks. That's really helpful. Appreciate it. So, jeez, he's going to die that early. My goodness. What have I done? So we definitely need to try that on a more difficult layout. The one-lane layout is not really a problem anymore. At least not with universities. Although I gotta say, he is lasting quite a while now. So I got 70 grand of poison on him. Helps for wave 15 boss. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And since I'm doing a lot of tutorials on my YouTube channel, I appreciate this information especially because I'm already working on a more detailed tutorial. So far, I only did a beginner's tutorial, and information like this is priceless. So thank you a lot, man. Appreciate it. It's for me never possible to learn and get all the information by myself. I love the encampments. I always feel like the encampments are a big part of my success here because all these runners that get spawned, they just run into these explosives and get cleared out that quickly. I think I heard it on YouTube somewhere. Probably. Wow, that was frighteningly easy. So the houses brought actually 14% of my income. Wow, that's actually quite a lot. I didn't think that you would get that much out of using your house income that early. Wow. Okay, good stuff. Yeah, exactly. I read that too, that you can transfer your towers there. Alrighty, my friends, it's time for me to go to sleep, because over here in my place, it's almost 2 AM. Thanks for the good company, and come back soon. I'd love to see you guys again. So, have a good one, and see you soon. Bye-bye, y'all.